Hello, everyone. Welcome to all. We still have people coming in. So let's just give it a couple of seconds until everyone is here. Very nice to see a big turnout today. Thank you all for coming and listening to the launch of DYB. Still people coming in. Come, please sit down, grab a seat. And I think, yes, I think we're all here. So thank you everyone for joining us today. For us, it's a huge pleasure to be here with you and to be able to launch this guide that we've been working in for a while. My name is Fernando Martinez. I am part of the global SIYB and the team, and it's a huge pleasure to be here with you guys. We have a great lineup of people that are going to talk to us a little bit about DYB and our experiences in doing the guide. DYB is Digitalize Your Business. I guess you saw that from the promo. So it's a pleasure again to be here. I'm just gonna go a little bit through the agenda, and I'm gonna go a little bit through the rules and aspects of the workshop, and then we'll just begin now. So we're gonna have initially Merten Sievers, Global Coordinator for Value Chains and Entrepreneurship. He's gonna start us up with an introduction to the guide and what it means in the general context. Then we're gonna see the guide that was prepared by Luisa Yachan. She's here. She's a part of our Global SIYB team. She's gonna present the guide, and then with Gemuno, she's gonna give us a little activity, a little taste, a little quiz based on what we're gonna present. Then we're gonna see two examples of implementations of the guide, very different, one in the Philippines and one in Nigeria. For the Philippines, we're gonna have Gemuno, Wijesena and Tony Lin Lim, who are gonna present us what they have done with the guide there in the Philippines. And in Nigeria, we have Norua Edopolo and Eddie Hoagun. Sorry if I am butchering your names, I'm so sorry. And they're gonna present us the case of what they did with the guide in Nigeria. Finally, Nadia Nutz, our Global SIYB Coordinator, is going to give some concluding remarks. And at the end, we're gonna have a Q&A session. So for the Q&A session, as you can see, there is no Q&A button in the bottom of your screens. So please place your questions in the chat. The panelists are going to be able to see all of those questions, and then we're going to direct, I'm going to direct those questions to different panelists. Similarly, at that point in the Q&A, if you want to say something, or so just raise your hand, and then we'll be able to unmute you when that part comes. All right. So having said all of this, let's put our hands together to welcome Merten Sievers. Merten, the floor is all yours.
Thank you so much, Fernando. I'm just unmuting my mic. Welcome, everybody. From also my side, I'm Merten Sievers, as Fernando said, Value Chain Development and Entrepreneurship Coordinator here in the SM unit at ILO headquarters. We have been managing the Start and Improve Your Business program for now more than 30 years, and do believe also from our tracking data that is one of the biggest around. Obviously, some of the tools we've been holding very dear and close to our heart have maybe not taken into account enough some of these mega trends that now are transforming everybody's economy, and that basically will be absolutely crucial for the future going forward. And so one of these mega trends is digitalization. The other one is climate change and what needs to change in our economies to basically adapt to changing realities of our environment and to make this globe livable for everybody. But on the digitalization front, obviously, one of the big pushes was not only for businesses, but also for the ILO to kind of start thinking about it in a harder way. The COVID crisis basically that came upon us, and where we really saw also that businesses that had kind of digital capability in any form basically did better than businesses that didn't, because much of the face-to-face interaction in many countries was locked down. And so we saw the need that we needed to have a guide that enables small businesses, micro businesses, enable business service providers to these businesses to think about what to do with the digital world. Yeah, and there's different steps, and Luisa will kind of talk about this, of how we bring non-digital businesses stronger into the digital realm. And for the ILO, obviously, that is absolutely crucial in a sense that many of the small and micro businesses out there were the ones that really depended on street trading, on face-to-face interactions, and often suffered most from the COVID pandemic, specifically the most micro enterprises. And so we felt it was really needed. There was really a need for a guide that helps business service providers, that helps trainers running these type of programs, helping these small businesses taking advantage of possible future or current digital opportunities and or digitalizing part of the business. But enough said on my side. The ILO obviously is in this because of our concern around decent work. Yeah, so what we want to see is that this guide helps small businesses create income for the workers, and improve working conditions in businesses that take opportunities in the digital realm. Thank you, Fernando, and thanks everybody for being here.
Thanks, Merten. Yeah, exciting stuff. So let's, without further ado, Luisa Yachan, please guide us to the guide and tell us what we can find there.
Thank you, Fernando. Thank you, Merten, for this introduction as well. I'm very pleased to be here today and to have the opportunity to provide an overview of Digitalise Your Business. I know the expectations for the launch of this new tool were very high, but I also trust that our product measures up to these expectations and also to the SIYB quality standards. And like Merten said, Digitalize Your Business was a tool that was already necessary and demanded before the pandemic. And after COVID-19, we saw this accentuated shift in consumers' behaviors from the physical world to the digital world, and therefore this urge for micro and small companies to adapt as well. And becoming more digital is important for businesses for several reasons. To become more efficient. So for instance, accounting and inventory management softwares help companies becoming more organized and automated. Also to respond to consumers' needs. For instance, a lot of consumers nowadays would prefer to buy online even than do physical shopping, and to have access to new markets, to new consumers, such as people living in different geographic locations, or people who simply wouldn't get to know about a brand or a product, because often it's easier to come across new products or new brands online than in the physical world. Third reason for digitalization to be beneficial for businesses, and especially micro and small businesses, is to improve communications. Technology is very useful to communicate between team members, with customers, or with suppliers and other partners. And also digitalizing is useful to increase the understanding about consumers and even use data to make better decisions and meet clients' needs, and to improve the client's perception of the brand as well. So the quality of the brand is often very related to the presence, the simple presence of the business online, because a lot of consumers value it. And DYB came as a manual composed of 3 modules that are useful for businesses in different stages of business development, of their digitalization journey, especially. And it is composed of 3 modules. And the first module is especially or mainly for businesses in the initial stages of their digitalization journey. So it is helping businesses first assessing their level of digitalization and learning how to build an online presence as a second lesson of this module. So there are different ways in which businesses can build an online presence, first by staying visible in social media platforms such as Facebook or Instagram. Second, by communicating via messenger applications such as WhatsApp, Telegram, or any other locally relevant platform. Third, by creating a website, and also the guide helps deciding which type of website would be the most appropriate for different types of businesses. And also this module helps businesses carrying out, learning how to carry out digital marketing and digital advertisement and digital branding. The second module of the guide is for businesses that already have an online presence and are willing to start selling online. So it helps entrepreneurs to identify first if they should sell online, and second, how they can sell online and through which platforms. There are basically three main possibilities of selling online, and the guide helps any micro and small businesses assessing which would be the best. And those are through social media platforms, through marketplaces such as Amazon or any locally relevant platform, or through a business website, so a website that is owned by the own business. And the third module of the guide is mainly for businesses already selling online. It helps entrepreneurs to basically to adapt their business's operations once they are already selling online. So it provides knowledge on collecting digital payments, on shipping and delivering products and goods, and on complying with digital ethics, protecting clients' privacy and data, and offering trust and security. So very essential characteristics that are needed for businesses that are selling online. The Digitalize Your Business package can be used by any entrepreneur, trainer, business service providers, as long as they have some computer literacy, some knowledge of basic internet concepts, and access to a computer. So those are essentially the requirements to use the DYB. And for now, the guide can be accessed through the Gateway platform, the SIYB Gateway, which is the platform where most of the SIYB documents can be found. And if you're not in the platform, please, and if you're interested in accessing the guide, please reach out to me. And I have my email here, yashan@ilo.org. And well, it's good to mention that the guide doesn't cover basic business management concepts. So it is recommended to use it as a complement of the Start and Improve Your Business or any other entrepreneurship training program. And it is also good to mention that differently from standard SIYB materials, the Digitalize Your Business doesn't provide session plans. So it's up to trainers to decide how to organize their trainings. To implement the Digitalize Your Business, we recommend two basic steps. The first, to conduct a rapid market assessment and a business development service check. That is doing a demand side and a supply side assessment. This phase is important to identify implementing partners based on their willingness and capacity to offer Digitalize Your Business training, and also to assess the digital capacity and needs of potential and existing entrepreneurs in any given context, and also to inform the adaptation of the guide, which is done in the second recommended step, and include, for instance, the most relevant local platforms in the examples of the guide. In the second basic step of implementation, the tool is adapted. So Digitalize Your Business is adapted to include local specificities, or for instance, adapting yeah, the platforms mentioned in examples, or the currencies, or names, and any other local specificity of the guide, and also sectoral specificities if it's relevant, if we are focusing on any specific sector. And also in this phase, well, the rollout of DYB training, including training of trainers and training of entrepreneurs, equip BDS providers with the technical capacity to deliver Digitalize Your Business trainings, and yeah, trains potential and existing entrepreneurs to grasp the opportunities of the digital economy. There are also two complementary steps that can be added to these basic steps. First, a business plan competition can be done to support businesses that have been trained in DYB, either financially or non-financially. And second, to support local stakeholders to strengthen their strategic digital platforms or make them more inclusive to specific target groups. So far, Digitalize Your Business has been piloted in the Philippines and in Nigeria. And there are also other potential upcoming pilots in Egypt and Kenya. We are very much looking forward to it. And we also welcome other interested partners to pilot DYB in other countries. In the Philippines, it was in the context of an ILO project funded by the Japanese Ministry of Foreign Affairs, with the goal of training 200 trainers in DYB and SIYB, who in turn trained 20,000 rural entrepreneurs. And in Nigeria, 10 SIYB trainers from the Ministry of Youth and Sports Development received a refresher training in DYB and trained 36 entrepreneurs. But I will let some of the main actors of these stories tell them to you with more details very soon. But before giving the floor to them to tell about their experiences, I would, the senior master trainer, Gemuno Vigesena, and I prepared a quick activity to test your knowledge on digitalizing your business. So please use this link and put it in your browser, and the code as well. You're gonna see a page with where you can enter the code. So I'm gonna follow the chat to see if everybody's doing this. Please comment on the chat once you have used the. You can either scan the QR code or put the link. Oh, sorry, it needed to be activated, so my bad.
Yes,
now,
it's not open.
Now it's active, thanks. Yeah, I see a lot of people, icons popping up here. And yeah, let me know in the chat, please, if everybody's already prepared. And we're gonna start the quiz. I see that some participants raised their hand, but we are gonna address all the questions in the Q&A at the very end of this webinar. So please hold your questions for the end. Don't worry, we are gonna try to address the most of them. Yeah, I'm following the chat to see if everybody's connected, either using the QR code or putting the link on the browser and inserting the code. Well, already 75 people connected. It's not bad. Let's see if more people join. Okay, I'm gonna start. I'm gonna start because, oh, it's actually, yeah, almost 200 people connected. So let's go. This question, it's to select the wrong statement. You have 30 more seconds to answer this question. I gave you a little bit longer for the first question because people are still getting used to the platform. Time's up. And wow, you went very well. Let's see if it starts becoming a bit more difficult. Select the wrong statement again. Digitalization helps businesses to make better decisions based on data, helps businesses to perform better, faster, and more efficiently, helps businesses to better respond to rising consumers' expectations, needs high investment, and is not feasible for micro and small businesses. So what do you think is the incorrect answer here? And 10 seconds left. And yeah, needs high investment and is not feasible for micro and small businesses is the incorrect one. And again, you went very well, 163 people correct. So let's move to the next question. Select the wrong statement. E-commerce can help MSMEs to save costs, find new markets and new customers, overcome the heavy competition in physical markets, take advantage of changing customer behaviors. So what do you think is the wrong statement? I see some people ask me to share the screen, so I'm gonna, can you please confirm in the chat that I am sharing the screen of the, thank you, Fernando.
Yes.
And I'm sorry, I was not sharing it before. So this one seems to have been a little bit more difficult, right? E-commerce can help MSMEs to overcome the heavy competition in physical markets. No, it's actually the wrong one. It's a bit more tricky, it seems like, but actually, in the physical markets, the competition is also high in online markets, and it doesn't seem to help businesses overcoming the heavy competition in physical markets. But yes, saving costs and finding new markets and new customers and taking advantage of the changing customer behaviors. Next question. Question 4 out of 5. Select the wrong statement. Selling via marketplaces is a good option to start selling online because it has low or no entry barriers. You get full control over your online shop. A marketplace account is either free or inexpensive to set up. Setting up a marketplace shop is quick and requires low effort. "20 more seconds to answer, to select the wrong statement again. Oh, wow, this one was the most divided one. So yeah, actually, when you are in a marketplace, the difficulty, the tricky part is that you don't get full control over your online shop. You are dependent on the marketplace to and dependent on their own rules and regulations and terms and conditions and so on. But yes, it has low or no entry barriers and is either free or inexpensive to set up. And setting up a marketplace shop is quick and requires low effort. Next question and final one. Collecting digital payments and establishing a shipping and delivery system is crucial for success in commercializing goods online. True or false? It is true. You went very well. Congratulations. So let me just switch again to the presentation. And thank you so much for having participated in the quiz. And I thank also Gemuno Vigezena again for co-creating this quiz. And please, Fernando, go ahead. And thank you so much to everybody. And yeah, reach me out at yashan@ilo.org if you need any support or are interested in knowing more about Digitalize Your Business.
Thank you, Luisa. We'll post all of our contacts as well in the chat, so you can of course contact us and Luisa if you have more questions about it. So yes, let's go straight away to the Philippines. Let's take a plane and let's have some mango ready to listen to Gemuno and Tony Lin. So please, Tony Lin, Gemuno, take it away. The floor is all yours.
Thank you very much, Fernando. May I request Luisa to transition to the slides for this particular purpose. But good day to everyone. I'm Tony Lim, CTA of the project that is rolling out DYB in the Philippines. Just to check, can you hear me well? Is my audio okay?
Fantastic, yes.
Thank you. Let me start by giving you a bit of introduction on the context of why we are rolling out DYB, or Digitalize Your Business, under the Bringing Back Jobs Safely project. If we can have the next slide shown on screen, please. At the onset of the pandemic, we know very well, as Martin also underpinned, micro, small, and medium enterprises really needed to recover and to do that safely. Yes, thank you. So SIYB was an entrepreneurship capacity strengthening program that was already running in the Philippines for quite some time. And with the infusion of Digitalize Your Business into that program, it was a potential to help put businesses online, because that was the only way of doing business, of course, and going forward, a prerequisite for businesses to thrive. And at the same time, it allowed the workers to lessen the physical transactions that would have exposed them further. At the same time, also allow more flexible working arrangements, such as teleworking and working from home. No? So this is the reason why ILO then decided to take the DYB mainstream SIYB as the main course offering for MSMEs and those who are resorting to alternative livelihoods and starting new business opportunities because they have lost their jobs. So the intention of the ILO is really to fill the gaps in the existing entrepreneurship ecosystem, as against, of course, just developing the super app or a super ERP that would address all the digitalization requirements of MSMEs. That was not the intention. So after going through a process, we have decided that, again, the DYB mainstream, the SIYB, was the most appropriate offering for MSMEs. And you see, you have seen our numbers. It was also mentioned a while back. It's quite ambitious. And you see down there, the diagram, we have the processes or main assignments for how we are using the DYB in the Philippines. So we undertook a thorough market assessment to understand the demand from the MSMEs and also what is the current or what are the current offerings in the market. And went into a process of adapting the materials of both the traditional SIYB materials and also the e-version so that that can be used in the trainer-led sessions. Then we are now, we have started actually some few batches of the training of trainers, but that will continue, and some training of enterprises have also been conducted. And we also had to upgrade the monitoring and evaluation framework because results are the best promoter at the end of the day for SIYB or even the DYB for that matter. May I invite now Gemunu to start walking us through this process that I have just mentioned to share more about how it was. Gemunu, please. Thank you.
Hi, Tony. Thank you. Thank you, Tony. Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening to our colleagues from different parts of the world, as it relevant to you. Let me to brief you about what we did in relation to adapting and piloting DYB materials, or the DYB package. In Philippines, when we introduced it, when we piloted it, we conducted a very thorough need assessment in the analysis of the BDS, digital BDS market, which was conducted by Philippine Young Entrepreneurs Association. They did a great job there to find out what is the situation, demand and supply side with regard to the digital BDS. Then there we identified that 3 levels of entrepreneurs when it comes to digitalization. We found digital savvy entrepreneurs who are already in Digitalise and digital journey at a high level. And another segment who are ready to go on digitalization with high interest and waiting for support. And there were some digital poor groups as well, especially when it comes to rural areas, micro, where they don't have that much of a internet connection or the awareness about these digital things that we need to support them as well. When we introduced DYB, we used 2 approaches. One is we integrated DYB into the existing modules of the packages of the SIYB generic version. For example, we developed DYB integrated GYB, DYB integrated SYB, and DYB integrated IYB marketing, and then DYB was integrated into the ESIYB materials as well, together with ILO ITC. Can we go to the next slide? Yes, to give you an example about how this integration has been done, for example, in the GYB, when we do the scanning of the market environment, when you do the structures brainstorming, and in the case studies, the DYB elements like digital products, digital marketing, online selling, different services are added into the existing GYB modules to brainstorm more and find out more digital business ideas. In the SYB, can you move the slide? Yeah, in the SYB also we integrate into the SYB, the Start Your Business package integrated with DYB include especially in the marketing mix, the online distribution, digital marketing, online selling processes, and even in the business plan, we incorporated DYB elements. In the case of IYB, you know that IYB, we have 6 modules, but we focus mainly on the marketing module, where DYB is very relevant, and we adapted IYB marketing module to provide the entrepreneurs, the existing entrepreneurs, the required knowledge and skills to go online and use the benefits of the digitalization. In addition to these 3 modules, that existing modules, the other second option that we piloted was delivering DYB as a separate module or a separate package. We can name it as the 7th module of the IYB package. Earlier we had 6 modules, now we have 7th one. It's target existing entrepreneurs who are interested and waiting for going to digitalization. We developed this session as a 9-hour online training, 3 hours a day over a 3 days period. As they are existing entrepreneurs, they cannot, they want something short and combined with SIYB marketing, and we develop the PowerPoint slides. And also here I want to mention one point, because normally when we adapt materials, when we adapt to the country context, we used to convert all the currency values into the local currency. But in the case of DYB, you do not want to do that, because in DYB, the currency values mention about payment for the domain name registration or hosting packages different. All these hosting and domain names companies who provide the service, they charge in dollars, and therefore we didn't want to change the currencies. Yes, I think the next slide. Yeah, we conducted 2 TOTs, trained 36 trainers. We were fortunate to get more female trainers, 22 female trainers within these 2 batches of TOT, including government sector and private sector, NGO sector BDS providers, altogether 9, like Department of Labor and Employment, Department of Trade and Industry, Philippine Young Entrepreneurs Association, and Employers Confederation of the Philippines, National Confederation of the Cooperatives. There were a lot of organizations, 9 organizations joined with all representing all 3 areas. And after the TOT, we provided all the materials, and for these trainers to deliver as a DYB adapted or DYB integrated SIYB or separate DYB training to relevant entrepreneurs. Now the entrepreneur training has been started. Tony, you may be able to tell something more about the entrepreneur level training?
Yes, thank you, Gamuna, certainly. And we're really very excited to share this because from the beginning, from the middle of the year, we were already at beneficiary level trainings. And as you can see, we've had several runs and our trainers are capable to do both face-to-face and online with the materials that they have in the training that they have undergone. So as you see, there is more demand seemingly for face-to-face now, even as we have anticipated that most of the runs will be online. The 4 batches, as you can see, show the different configurations under which the trainings have been rolled out. So this reflects also the differentiated demand and needs of our MSMEs in the rural areas specifically. We have had 284 participants so far, participant entrepreneurs and would-be entrepreneurs with a 50-50 male-female ratio. We're happy about that. Some challenges still persist. As you know, we haven't done face-to-face for quite some time. And so the logistical requirements and resource constraints should have been planned earlier, which couldn't because of the situation. But nonetheless, online is also being offered, but there are also challenges in terms of managing the technology, using technology even to make the trainings more interesting with the Jamboards and different applications. Unfortunately, also for the online, we couldn't do the SIYB games, which is a very interesting part of the training. Connectivity persists as an issue. And there was a need to really translate the materials, not just to the local language, but to the different dialects to reach even those that are in those rural areas of the country. The length of the SIYB course actually was quite challenging also for MSMEs to go through the entire length of it. So the guidance of the master trainer was really very important to further guide the trainers on how to customize the runs. Next, please. So just a bit of feedback from trainers and trainees. So from the trainer, they see the offering as giving them a broader understanding of digitalization and more importantly for its potential for MSMEs in the Philippines. And at the same time, it gave them confidence not to train to take advantage of the offerings of the digital age. For the participant entrepreneur, they said that this training helped them foresee both the problem and the solution at the same time, which indeed, as you know, for the DYB, we really presented several digital solutions during the trainings. Next, please. As a sustainability strategy, we want to make sure that materials and even the trainings have more demonstration and practical use of digital applications by way of group works or assignments. And then we need to monitor the productivity results more keenly, or more in a more focused manner. So we had to adapt also the M&E framework. And to make sure that the DYB is integrated in the regular offering of BDS in the Philippines. For continued innovation, we are also looking into, as I mentioned already, the adaptation of the ESIYB version, which is coming soon and fully adapted to the needs of the Philippine MSMEs. So I'd like to stop here. If you have any questions, please direct them later in the Q&A. Thank you.
Tony, thank you so much, and Emunu. Super interesting stuff. If you guys want to know more about the Philippines case study, please write to Tony and us. We will be happy to share with you. Okay, so let's take a plane from the Philippines to Nigeria. And let's hear from Norua and Ebiho that are going to tell us about the implementation there. Guys, please, the floor is all yours.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much, Louisa. Thank you, Dino. Dino is our ILO contact here in Nigeria. For us in Nigeria, our brief was to pilot the DYB to a set of SIYB trainers who had just completed their training. And so we actually took DYB as a separate program. And so what we did, next slide, please. So what we did in Nigeria was to use the SIYB model. The SIYB model, the training cycle. So I'm going to be talking about context and process, and my colleague, the trainer, one of the trainers, Ebiho, will speak on how they saw it from the trainer's perspective. Interestingly, the Ministry of Sports and Youth Development was the organization that we worked with for the TOT. And just for your information, Nigeria has the world's largest number of youth population. Over 70% of our population are youths between the ages of, I think, 18 and 35, thereabout. So, I mean, it was, important, and, that we used the Ministry of Youth that's responsible for the young people to pilot DYB in Nigeria. Next slide, please. So for me, our focus was, on the context. So what did we do? So we took, next slide, please. We took DYB and we used the existing SIYB model. In other words, the SIYB training cycle. That's what we did in Nigeria. We just took the DYB, adapted the SIYB training cycle, and that's how we conducted the TOT. There were 10 participants, 4 female and 6 male. They in turn trained 36 entrepreneurs for their certification TOE. They had 20 females and 20 males and 16 females. Now, just before we went into the DYB, I actually, I took them on, there's an ILO training on how to, use virtual tools, online training. So we actually did some time on online training. Then we moved into the DYB and we just took them through the SIYB cycle. And that's how we adapted DYB in the Nigerian context. Next slide, please. So I'll take it. I'll leave my colleague Ebiho to take it from here. Ebiho, over to you. Ebiho, are you there? You are muted.
Yes, I'm here. Thank you.
Yeah, please go ahead.
Thank you, Mr. Norua, and good morning to colleagues. In the case of Nigeria, from a trainer's perspective, during the pilot, we received it with great expectations and excitement, and of course, guided by the master trainer, Mr. Norua. We commenced the activities for training immediately. Already, he has spoken about that. We used the SIYB training methodologies, which worked perfectly well. Next slide, please. So conducting a TOE was also a very exciting experience. And so it can be summarized that below. During the marketing for the TOE, we were still under the COVID lockdown. It wasn't completely, we weren't completely free to move about. And so we used the social media platform for marketing. and we identified suitable entrepreneurs. And then the 3 days training using the DYB modules was conducted. We covered a total of 15 hours training in total, with 2 hours for assignment daily. And then the training included the use of SLIB training and evaluation methodologies. The master trainer also guided us on digital platforms for obtaining feedback. We used the Google form. We used the video ask to obtain daily reactions. And for our evaluation forms, we improvised with the Google form. An interesting experience was the designing a DYB action template. We actually sat down, guided by our experience in the SLIB training. We designed an action plan template for the DYB, which was used at the end of the TOE to guide participants on taking forward the lessons from the training. Next slide, please. So what are the opportunities for the DYB guide in Nigeria? In Nigeria, we have the National Digital Economic Policy and Strategy. It's a framework for digitalization in Nigeria. And then there are 2 specific priority areas in that framework, which are relevant for partnership on the DYB in Nigeria. One is the digital literacy and skills, to promote digital literacy and skills, and also priority 5, which proposes support for MSMEs. So DYB can support implementation of this framework beyond the Ministry of Youth and Sports, with the Ministry of Communication, Ministry of Labor, so many ministries. So I think under the guidance of the ILO, a team can be constituted to take advantage of this framework and also drive implementation of the DYB in Nigeria. And of course, Nigeria is the most populous country in Africa, a significant number of young people, and we're currently facing high levels of employment. And so these young people who are being trained require DYB to launch their businesses, launch their business ideas, and access local markets as well as international markets. So DYB is very crucial for access for markets. For when these young people have been trained, they can also have the opportunity to access markets through the DYB training. There's also a high level of interest and engagement of Nigerians presently in the digital space. And so Nigerians are actively involved in digital space beyond the youth population. And so this presents opportunities for the DYB training. So these are what we are proposing in Nigeria. Next slide, please. So it was a good learning experience for the trainers and entrepreneurs in Nigeria. The young people were able to reinforce their business ideas. They were actually excited doing the action planning and learning steps to digitalize their businesses right from the initial stage. And so they all had their action plans and were able to practicalize the learning. So the DYB is an important component, and the launch today will create opportunities for entrepreneurs globally, particularly in Africa, and so it's a very welcome development, this launch today. Thank you very much. And so that's a take from Nigeria. Thank you.
Evijo, thank you so much. And Noruwa as well. Yeah, great case of implementation. Thanks for sharing with everyone. All right, I have a couple of things before I give the floor to Nadia Nutz, our global SRB coordinator. A lot of interest from Palestine, Egypt, Senegal, Bangladesh, Lebanon, Ethiopia, Tanzania, Uganda. Great to hear that this is relevant in your contexts. There are a lot of specific questions about the SYB, how to become partner organization, how to access the model in the gateway, etc. For all of those, please write us to syb@ilo.org. I'll share the email there. Yeah, with that, Nadia, please welcome and go ahead.
Thank you, Fernando, and thank you everybody who contributed to this webinar today. How interesting, really interesting to follow kind of the different interventions and see how this is being used for now in Philippines and in Nigeria. And well, before I go into the closing remarks, let me just once again reiterate, thank you. It's really great to see this. So thanks to everybody who contributed to this webinar today, and more importantly, even thanks to everybody who contributed to the development of this great DYB tool. First and foremost, Luisa, who's been at the forefront here at the SOIB Global team. Thank you, Luisa. But also, really, thank you to all the colleagues in the field. Thank you to the ILO colleagues who contributed to that in Philippines, in Nigeria, in other countries, the master trainers, the partner organizations, many, many people. So thanks. We at ILO SME unit here in Geneva have been talking about doing more to digitize businesses for quite some time now. Those of you who know us know that we have quite a number of tools and approaches to help and support small enterprises. So there's the Start and Improve Your Business program, there's Get Ahead for women entrepreneurs, there's things we do on value chain development to connect small enterprises better to markets. So a lot of things are going on, but for quite some time, we have been wondering, how can we support small businesses better in digitizing? How can we support them really in using all the digital tools and approaches that are available today to help them grow and create jobs? Because what we're seeing is so many things are out there right now, no digital tools and online things, but really at the forefront are usually the big businesses that take that up very quickly. And sometimes it feels like small businesses are a bit left behind. So we've been thinking about a lot about how can we help small businesses really take opportunities up. And so, yeah, a lot of thinking and discussion actually went into the development of Digitalize Your Business, or short DYB. So once again, thanks to all who made this possible. Now you may wonder, where do we go from here? How do we take this forward? What's next? Well, obviously, as you saw, what happened so far is the development of a prototype, if you will, no, a guide on Digitalize Your Business, and we've pilot tested this for now in the Philippines and in Nigeria. But obviously, what we would like to see is this tool being used in many, many different countries to help small businesses really around the globe to digitize and take opportunities of digital tools to help them grow and create jobs. And so for that to happen, we really need your help. No? So this is a process, kind of institutionalizing this in the different countries and regions of this world that obviously could not and should not be driven by us sitting here in Geneva, but really we need you, colleagues, master trainers, partner organizations in the various countries around the globe to help us do that. What does that entail? Well, the prototype we developed might need to be adapted to any given context. We know all that context, specifically with regard to digitization in the various countries, can differ. No? So using that in your country might need a discussion on, does this need to be adapted? How does it need to be adapted? How can we roll this out in a way that it really fits the needs of small businesses today? It obviously also might involve translation, no? Translating the guide into your local language so it can be used by local partner organizations, by trainer networks, etc. So all of that requires some thinking. It requires people on the local level in your country that really have an interest and are willing to invest some time and effort in using that tool. And let's be honest, it might also require some funds, no, to adapt, to translate, and to roll this out. And for that, again, we'll need your help. So if you are interested, if what we heard today generated your interest and you think you have, the willingness and the resources to actually use this in your country and help small businesses digitize, then contact us. Fernando just mentioned we have a generic SOIB email address, soib@ilo.org. I think Luisa also wrote her personal contact details in the chat box. So contact us and we can then discuss how we can roll this out in your country. All right. Thank you so much. And with that, I'll hand back over for a Q&A session, I believe.
Thank you so much, Nadia. Getting a lot of messages from Tanzania, Namibia, South Africa, Sri Lanka, Sudan, Pakistan. To all of you, yeah, thanks for your interest and thanks for coming. And we're happy that this resonates with what you guys are seeing in your markets. I have some questions based on the ones that have been in the chat. I'm gonna start with a couple. I want to start with one, and then we'll answer it, and then I'll come with the other one until our time is up. Okay. So a first one that I want to say is I've been asked if this could also work with Get Ahead or is only with SYB, or how can they do it? I don't know who wants to answer that, maybe Luisa or Nadia.
Sorry, I don't know if I'm being seen and heard. Yes.
Yeah, you are.
You are. Go ahead.
Okay. Yes. So yes, definitely. Yes, we encourage you to use it with other entrepreneurship training packages such as SIYB and Get Ahead. Digitalize Your Business is a tool that was thought to be used either integrated with other business management trainings, because those trainings provide the basic knowledge about how to run a business in different stages of business development. And because Digitalize Your Business doesn't offer these basic concepts, so that's why we do encourage you to combine it with other business management training packages. But also Digitalize Your Business was thought to be also possible to be used as a standalone product, which can be used like a single product and with using the whole 3 modules, or can also be divided and using only parts of the guide in depending on the target groups, depending on the sector you are targeting as well, and depending on the context, you can also use single modules of the guide and either as a standalone product, or also combining with other training packages using only some modules. So that's why we created it, we designed it in this modular structure that allows you to have freedom of how to implement it, and either combining it with other tools or as a standalone package. I think I could also answer some quick questions before I give again the word to Fernando. Just some very quick questions, such as how to get access to Digitalize Your Business in the gateway. So in the gateway, you are gonna find it either in the trainer manual session or in the entrepreneur manual session. You can find the Digitalize Your Business in both folders. And also, please, other partners, other people interested in having access to it and implementing it, contact me or Nadia at our emails. And another question that I can quickly answer is about translations. A lot of people are asking for translations now in French because of the time zone, I believe, but I believe we would also have a lot of questions about translations in Spanish and yeah, maybe Arabic. I haven't seen all the comments in the chat, but maybe other languages as well. And for the moment, we only have the Digitalize Your Business guide in English. We really hope that we can have translations also in other languages soon, and ideally, yes, we would reach the highest number of people possible. And we are looking forward to future projects interesting in sponsoring translations and applying it in other contexts as well. But for the moment, the guide and any material related to it, and as well this webinar, are only in English, but we really hope to have translations soon. Durations of the modules is also a question that I have received quite often. And there's no single recommended duration. As I mentioned in the presentation, there are no session plans predefined, but we have the examples of Philippines and Nigeria in which Digitalize Your Business as a standalone training was offered in 3 days of 3-hour sessions each of the days, so 9 hours in total. And when combining with SIYB and delivering training of trainers and training of entrepreneurs, we have the case of Nigeria, in which it was 2 days for training of trainers and 3 days for training of entrepreneurs. So I would say these would be the standard. So considering more or less 9 hours of training in total. And concerning the recording of this session, it's going to be available in the website. Yeah, we're going to put it in the SIYB website. So you're going to find it there after the webinar. So those are the important questions that I wanted to answer about, very quick questions about logistics. I'm going to give the microphone again to Fernando, please. And sorry for taking too long.
Thank you, Luisa. I have 2 questions. I want these questions to be, if possible, for our friends in the Philippines and Nigeria to answer them both. So one, we have a question from Uganda saying, this is a master trainer that is working with very small enterprises, and the composition of enterprises in Uganda, according to this trainer, are very, very small enterprises. So anyway, so how is your experience working with very small enterprises in implementing DYB? Does it work? Does it not work? What are issues on it, etc.? So Ebijo, Tony, as you want.
Thank you.
Okay.
Just to give, sorry.
I saw Ebijo first, Tony, and then.
Okay,
and then
please go ahead. Please go ahead, Ebijo.
Okay, thank you. I think in the case of Nigeria, for the DYB, the number of entrepreneurs doesn't really matter. I think you can also use it for small groups of enterprises. I think it works perfectly fine for either for small groups or large groups. It's just about structuring your training. Like Luisa has said, you have the modules and you just sit and plan your sessions, which under the master trainer guided us, the SLYB structure also helped a great deal in the case of Nigeria. So you can structure your sessions depending on what you need to deliver. So the groups of numbers of enterprises doesn't really matter as far as you plan your sessions and you structure it accordingly. Thank you.
Thank you, Tony.
Yeah, just really for the Philippines, I think micro enterprises would have an average about just 2 to 3 people working in the company. So it didn't really matter, except that, of course, the time constraint, they cannot let go of even one person just attending the sessions for a long period of time. So thus the customization and different configurations that you have seen in the presentation.
Super. Thank you so much. I have another question for you both, and also Norua or Gemun, if you guys want to step in. Are there any special equipments and or digital tools that you had to use or that you used in order to deliver the contents of the guide? Yeah, Norua, please.
Thank you. Nothing beyond your laptop, maybe your phone, and internet connectivity. There was nothing extra beyond what you normally would connect with to the internet. Thank you.
Is the same in the Philippines? Can we have the same experience?
Yes, and I think some of them were even connecting to the smartphone. But Gemuno might be able to mention some of the apps that they were using as well. Gemuno?
Yeah. In the Philippines, as Naru said that yes, the participants or the trainers who join the TOTs need to have access to internet and laptop or a computer or a smartphone, otherwise difficult to connect. To deliver this DYB, the trainers need to train in using digital training delivery techniques. And we need to keep the interaction with the participants, and therefore we included a number of tools in the TOT. For example, we trained them about using the Jamboard, we trained them about using Mentimeter, We train them about using Kahoot. We train them about using Google Classroom, and we train them about using a few other tools that helps you to deliver this training digitally, keeping high interaction with the audience.
Thank you so much, Gemunu. I'm getting a lot of shout outs from Zambia, Algeria, Nepal, Kenya. Hello to everyone from here, Geneva. I have one last question that I would like to ask you both in Nigeria and the Philippines. Are there any lessons learned, anything that you're taking from this, anything that you want to share with the network of considering or when moving forward things to be excited about or to put attention on in the implementation of the guide? Yeah, Noru, I see you.
Yes, what I'd like to say is that I think that DYB is a very powerful tool, particularly in these parts where young people think that the internet is a tool for crime. So on the one hand, DYB, opens their eyes to the positive potentials of, of the internet and social media on the one hand. On the other hand, also, a lot of businesses want to go online, but, it's been very unstructured in their approach. So they've run into people who would charge them, plenty of money and not deliver. So I think DYB also presents a very easy format to go online with your business. That's what I've seen here, looking at it both from my personal perspective and from the work that we did. Thank you very much.
Thanks, Noru. I see Ebio also show your camera. Do you want to share something? You're muted, sorry. Ebio, you're still muted.
Yeah.
Yeah, there you go.
Sorry, I was unmuting. Thank you. Just to add to what Mr. Noruwa is saying, I think it's an exciting experience, and I think countries that yet to pilot should have great expectations and should be excited about it. It's, for me, like I said in the presentation, it's a very, very easy tool for access to markets, because you train some of these entrepreneurs, especially the young ones, and then they have no idea how to access markets, to get a show up to. But when they have an online presence, it's also a very important tool to access markets. And so I think there's much to be, they should have great expectations, and it's a tool that will be relevant going forward for every entrepreneur. And I think all SOIB trainers should also hook up to participate in the DYB training. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Tony, I'll give the word to you.
Yes, from my end, I think give emphasis on the market assessment, because this will make your customization of the materials better, to know your clients' needs better. Are they the basic users, or are they from the agricultural sector, for example? You do have to understand this, and also the laws that are governing their use of digital tools, because that is also very important for them to understand. So from my end, invest on that and on the customization of the materials, of course. Thank you.
Great advice, Tony. Thanks. And that will make it much more sustainable as well. Gemunu.
Yes, to tell a few things in relation to some questions as well. What we want is, especially for master trainers, to do in the future when you conduct new TOTs, include DYB in it as part of IYB, and also train them about using online training tools. Then they will be able to deliver DYB. And for the existing trainers, we need to organize some refresher TOTs to introduce them the DYB material, DYB slides, and digital technologies to deliver training. And that is what we need to do. And I hope that our trainers, master trainers, are very much now eager to capture this, and feel free to contact the global team or us. We are here to help you. And I take this opportunity to convey my thanks to especially the Philippine BBJSP team, to Hideki, and for the global team for giving me an opportunity to join this work in developing this digital DYB and piloting it and joining this webinar. Thank you to all of our colleagues who joined this. Thank you.
And thank you all for coming to listen to this launch. Thank you for our panelists for your time and your generosity in sharing your experience with the rest of this amazing network. Thank you all for coming here on behalf of the SYB Global Coordination Team. It's been a pleasure. Please do write to us at syb@ilo.org. Any question that you might have that we might have not answered, specifics, of course, how to access, where to find it, ideas of these case studies. The webinar is going to be in the SYB page, so you can access it and look at what we just shared. So yeah, so let's meet in the let's keep meeting digitally. Hope this tool will benefit a lot of people. And yeah, from our part, that it's all. Thank you all so much for coming, and see you on the next time.
Okay, bye-bye.
Thank you. Bye.
Thank you. Thank you.